Good morning. We are continuing on with those X and Y intercepts. Today's is a big one. It is a PO, so it's a power objective. This is one that you will use all the time in the future. This is, I can graph an equation in slope-intercept form. Woo, slope-intercept form. Big deal, okay? So we need to figure out what that slope-intercept form is and what all the different parts mean. So the slope-intercept form is a way to write a linear equation that makes it easily graphable based on what the equation tells you about how that line moves across the coordinate plane. So we're going to be using our X and Y intercepts. We're going to be using our slope. Remember what we know about that slope from the last unit, that rise over the run. So we can plot 2 points, our X and our Y intercepts. We can figure out that slope and how that line is going to continue. So the slope-intercept form, we're going to talk about a lot in this unit. It is y equals mx plus b. Lots of letters. We know what y and x are, right? Those are those from the ordered pairs. So that x is the x value of any ordered pair on the line. So that means the y is the y value of any ordered pair on the line. Remember, our ordered pairs always start with the x and then the y, right? So that's our xy's. Now we have some new ones. The m is going to be our slope. A lot of times we see that slope listed as a fraction, right? That rise over the run. If it's listed just as a whole number, what would the run have to be? If our slope is listed as a whole number, Laurel?
Yeah.
Victoria? A 1. Because remember, with that rise over the run, if we just have a 6, that's the same as saying 6 over 1. Okay? So if they just give you a whole number for that m spot, we know that that run is a 1. The b is our y-intercept. So that's where it crosses the y-axis. So we are combining lots of stuff that we've learned in previous objectives, and we're putting it all together for the slope-intercept form. We need to remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay? That's a big one for us to learn. We will talk about it every day for the rest of this unit. So we have steps to graphing an equation in the slope-intercept form. So that slope-intercept form, here are our steps. The first step is we're going to plot the y-intercept, not the y-intercept. So it's where you begin. It's the first step. That's the B. Because remember, that slope, or that y-intercept is the B. That's where you begin. The first thing you do is that y-intercept. It's the beginning point. Step 2, use the slope to get a second point. I'm having a hard time writing with this pen today. It's how you move the line. That's the M. Okay, so our slope is the M. It's how it moves, that rise over the run. So first you find your y-intercept. That's easy to graph, right? Then we use the slope, rise over run, to get that second point, how that line is going to move. 3, we connect the points with a line. So first you plot the y-intercept, the beginning, the B. Then you use that slope, the M, to move to a second point. And then the third step is you draw your line. We're going to see what all that means, how to use that. Keep in mind, in a negative slope, only one of the parts, the numerator or the denominator, is negative. Okay, it's not both are negative. Because if both the numerator and the denominator are negative, we simplify it down to both being positive. So only one part is negative. Typically, the sign is put with the numerator so that we stay consistent in having a positive denominator and moving to the right, which is how we were practicing doing it when we did that rise over the run. So here's where X and Y come in. If graphed correctly, any point on the line will work in the equation. We're going to plug one in and check. So I'm going to erase this and scroll up so we can practice using this. So I'm going to rewrite it. Our equation is y equals mx plus b. Okay, you have it at the top of your paper. We can see our equations are already set up in that y equals format. We'll talk later about if it's in the standard form format that we worked with on yesterday's objective, with that ax plus by equal, So we're going to talk about how to move that into the slope-intercept form later. Right now, we're going to be given it in that slope-intercept form. So first, we need to identify the slope and the y-intercept, and then we're going to practice graphing it. So looking at this first one, y equals 2x minus 3. Which number is my y-intercept? Henry? 2. So, look up top at what our letters mean.
3.
Yeah. Now, we have the y-intercept is the beginning. We have our slope is the m. Now, notice here, it says y equals mx plus b. So if my equation is y equals 2x minus 3, is my y-intercept going to be a 3? Joe?
No.
Why not? Because I have that minus there. We don't want to forget that minus sign. So what this is saying is it's 2x plus a negative 3. So if it says minus, I want you to think of it as saying 2x plus negative 3. Okay, so can't just drop off that minus sign. It turns it negative. So for my y-intercept, how am I going to write that ordered pair? Okay.
0, negative 3.
0, negative 3, because we know in the y-intercept the x is always 0. So when it says the y-intercept, you're going to write it as an ordered pair because we're going to have to graph it. So I want you to write the ordered pair. Then it says slope. What is our slope? Joe?
2 over 1.
Oh, I love how Joe remembered what I talked about at the beginning. We want that slope to be in that rise over run format. So we know how much to go up or down, and then how many to the right. It gave us a whole number of 2, so we wanted to put it over that 1, so we know our run is a 1. So now we have to graph it. What's my first step to graphing it? Ellie?
I guess you put the, make 2 points.
So how do I make the first point? What's my first step? Look at our steps.
You use this like 2 seconds.
First step,
Oh, not the line.
I have to plot the y-intercept. I already put my ordered pair. Now I need to put it on the graph. So I need to go to 0, negative 3. That's my first step. What's my second step? Colton?
Use the slope to get the second point.
Use that slope to get the second point. Remember, my slope is the rise over the run. The rise goes up if it's positive, down if it's negative. My run, we're going to go to the right. So I'm going to start at my y-intercept. It's a positive 2, so I go up 2. It's a positive 1, I go to the right 1. That shows me where my second point is going to be. So it's been a little while since we did the rise over the run, but remember, if it's positive, you go up that top number, and then you go to the right, the bottom number. What's my third step? Madeline?
Connect the points with the line.
Connect the points with a line, not a segment. So make a line with arrows on the end because that line keeps on going. All right, let's try the next one. Y equals negative 3/4 x plus 1. What is my y-intercept? What would my ordered pair be that I should write? Finley?
0, 1.
0, 1. Because my y-intercept is that b, the b is at the end. Plus 1 is a positive 1. What is my slope? Madeline?
Negative 3 over 4.
Negative 3 over 4. Got to keep that negative on there, right? It's important, it matters. Details matter. So, I have my y-intercept, I have my slope. Now I need to graph it. What's my first step for graphing? Colton?
Plot the y-intercept, the 1.
Plot the y-intercept. I know it is 0, 1, so 0, 1 falls right here. What's my next step? Colton?
Use the slope to get the second point.
Use that slope to get our second point. So my slope is at negative 3. Remember, if it's negative, I'm going down. So I go down 3. And then I have a 4 on the bottom, so I go over 4. Remember, if it's a negative slope, that line points downwards. If it's the positive slope, like this one, that line's going up. So that slope tells me it's going to look different because it's a negative slope. So that last step is connect the dots with a line. So you need your arrows. Super important. For those of us that just came back from band, you can ask a neighbor to look on, to fill in those notes on the top. And then hopefully get caught up on the y-intercept and the slope once you have those filled in. So Grayson, why don't you sit next to Ellie so you can fill that in. Evelyn, you can fill in from Colton. All right. Last one. Y equals x plus 3. What would my y-intercept be? Laura? How do I put that into an ordered pair then? Yep, so my ordered pair, the x is a 0, the y is the 3. What is my slope? What do you think, Madeline? Well, but I don't see any ones listed, Madeline. Why would it be 1 over 1? If there's not a number in front of the variable, we know that's that invisible math. There is a 1 there, because 1 times a number is just going to be that number. So Madeline is absolutely right. If there's no number there, we can visualize a 1 being there. And then we have to make it rise over run, so it would be 1 over 1. So it's those invisible math things we need to look for in this. There's always a number in front of a variable. If we see it, it's easy. If we don't see it, we have to remember it's a 1. What's my first step? Henry?
Plot the y-intercept.
Plot the y-intercept, 0, 3. So I go to 0, 3. What's my next step? Finley? Use the slope to find the next point. It's a positive 1, so I go up 1. My run is a 1, so I go over 1. Victoria, what's my last step? Connect them with that line. Make those arrows. Okay, it's not segments, it's a line, so make sure you're connecting them. Does anybody have any questions on how we figured all of this out? It seems overwhelming at first. Y equals mx plus b. That is a whole lot of numbers, and this is math class. I don't know. It gets overwhelming. Okay, break it down step by step. What does each of those parts mean? Now I'm going to see some numbers thrown in there. What do they mean? Do step by step. Okay, that's the big thing with math. Don't get overwhelmed by the new. Don't get overwhelmed by all this stuff on there. Just start going step by step. Math is very methodical. Step by step by step, and we can get it done. Let's look at our second page. You might want to write those notes like I have written on that second page, or you can flip back and forth. You can write them on the top, or you can look at that first page, reminding yourself when we have that slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, where are we finding the slope? Where are we finding that y-intercept? Remind yourself with that slope, the rise, if it's positive, you go up. If it's negative, you go down. The run is how many across you're going to go. Some of us frequently flip that rise and that run. Right, we accidentally go up the bottom number and go across that top number, and we end up with the wrong line being drawn. So write yourself the note on it, so you make sure you're doing it correctly. We're gonna do the exact same thing that we were doing together on that front page. We need to remember when there's a part missing from y equals mx plus b. Use our knowledge of that invisible math. What does it mean? So if we look over here, I see y equals mx plus b, y equals mx plus b, y equals mx. Uh-oh, I don't see a plus b. But I thought we were using y equals mx plus b. Why is there no plus b on there? I need the b. What invisible math do you think is there?
One.
It is not a 1. Because that would be y equals 2x plus 1. I can't have that be invisible. Because that's a different y-intercept, right? Uh-oh. What's your thought, Leo? Oh, do I have to write plus 0 when I'm writing out an equation?
No.
No, because it's not going to change anything. But does it matter here?
Yes.
It sure does, because we need to know what that y-intercept is, that b. Y equals mx plus b, we need to know the y-intercept. So if we put a 0 there, can we find our y-intercept? What would it be, Colton?
0, 0.
Oh, x is always 0. Now that's 0. Now if I'm going to plot 0, 0, I know it's right in the middle of my grid. So sometimes we get that slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and there are missing parts. Think about your invisible math. If we are multiplying, that invisible number is 1. If we're adding, the invisible number is going to be a 0. Because we don't have to write plus 0. We don't have to write times 1. So always think with my invisible math, what is missing, and fill it in. So that way, it makes it easier when you're finding your y-intercept, when you're finding your slope. So it says you're going to graph the equation. Show how you check your work. So let's see what that means. How are we going to check our work? So let's do this first one together. I need to find my y-intercept. I need to find my slope. I want you to actually write them out. Okay? So my y-intercept for this first one, y equals 1/3 x plus 1. What's the y-intercept? Finley?
0, 1.
0, 1. What's my slope? Elliot? 1/3. So now I'm going to go through my 3 steps. I'm going to graph my y-intercept, 0, 1. I'm going to do my slope. It's positive, so I go up 1/3. And then I'm going to draw my line, connecting them. But now I need to check it. So how do I check it? So back on that page before, it said, if graphed correctly, any point on the line will work in the equation. Plug one in and check. So we can plug in a point on this line to check if it works. So use that second point you found with your slope. And we're going to plug in that x and y and see if both sides of the equation balance out. So the point that I drew right here, my x is 3, my y is 2. So I'm going to plug in that x and y into my equation. So I'm gonna take, my y is 2, so 2 equals 1/3 times my x plus 1. And we're gonna see if 2 equals 2. So we're gonna do the math and see if we get a 2 here. So I have 2 equals 1/3 times 3. 3 is a 1/1, so that would give me 3/3. What do I simplify 3/3 to be equal to? So that gives me a 1 plus 1. So I have 2 equals 1 plus 1 is 2. Ah, I graphed my slope correctly. That's how we check it. So use that slope to find your second point, graph it, and then put that second point's ordered pair in for your x and your y. And do the math. Does it equal each other? Sometimes I have friends that accidentally, when they graph, they think, oh, all right, I'm right here, so I go over 1 and up 3, and they would give me that point. If I put that ordered pair in, which is 1, 4, it's not going, oops, not 2. It's not going to equal itself. One-third times 1 is 1/3 plus 1 is not 4. That's where I find out if I graphed my slope correctly. If it doesn't equal, I made a mistake. And I need to go back and say, wait, did I do my rise over run correctly? So that's why it's important that we do go and check our work, because you'll catch yourself if you graphed incorrectly. Does that make sense how you check your work? Use that second point, plug it into the equation, and you'll catch any mistakes that you made. All right, this page, it's all the same. Remember, when you have missings, y equals mx plus b, and all of a sudden we have y equals x, fill in the invisible math numbers. So you know what to put for your y-intercept, you know what to put for your slope. So when you get stuff like this, fill in those missing numbers. On our second page, there are 2 equations. It says graph each scenario on the coordinate plane provided, then answer the questions. Now, these 2 are a little more complicated. Tomorrow is a math retake day, and I'm gonna check to see, I think we have a lot of math retakes that I wanna do. Usually, if I don't, we do it the next day we work on this, what it means. What I want you to do is I want you to see if you can figure out, we only have 5 more minutes of class. I want you to see if you can figure out how to do it, and then we're going to talk about it on Tuesday when we're back from Easter break. Okay, so this work page, do completely, do it correctly. We know how to do this page. This page, I want you to try working on it. You might not get it right. I want you to see if you can figure it out. Then we're gonna go over it and do it together on Tuesday. But when I walk around to check us up, I wanna see that you've tried it. Does that make sense? Okay, so just know we are correcting this. We are correcting this on Tuesday. So it's not a, oh my goodness, we have so much homework to do tonight, and we have a social studies test tomorrow. Are we correcting this tomorrow? No. Should we make sure not to forget that we have to have this done for Tuesday? Because I had a few of us that went, oh, I forgot to do it. And we just had it assigned yesterday, and we forgot to do it for today. If you don't do it tonight, because you know we're not correcting until Tuesday, you can't forget to do it. You're still required to do it. We are not correcting tomorrow. Either page.
So you don't even check off the work page now?
Well, that's a good question. I am gonna check the work page tomorrow, not this page. Thank you, honey.
You guys.
So I'm gonna check it off that work page tomorrow, okay? So get the work page done for tomorrow. This second page of work have done for Tuesday. So quietly get started on this work page, so that way if you have questions, you can come and ask me any questions. Okay, the good thing is we didn't have Khan Academy assigned this week. We're not in school on Friday and Monday, so I'm not assigning Khan Academy because I want us to enjoy our Easter celebrations with our families. So we are just focusing on the binder, okay? Make sure you come up and ask me if you have questions. Go ahead and get to work. If you are watching at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.